Celebrating 43 years on the air, Farm Week is a production of Mississippi State University Extension.
Today on Farm Week, with so many Americans out of work and the government doing everything it can to keep school kids fed, an extraordinary look at how one school district in Mississippi is a hero to students and families. Plus, in Southern gardening, as we open the country back up, a way to celebrate your landscape with those three little words: thriller, filler, and spiller. And Zac Ashmore says it's been quite a roller coaster ride. He's here with a unique perspective on the ag markets. Farm Week starts right now. Hello everyone, I'm Mike Russell. Thanks so much for joining us today on Farm Week. We begin today's show with a bright spot in the Mississippi response to the coronavirus lockdown, making sure school kids are fed despite the closure of schools and the canceling of classes because of social distancing. In this report, producer James Parker literally gets on the school bus to follow daily efforts to feed children in the Starkville-Oktibbeha School District. Take a look.
It's strange. I mean, it's something that I never imagined in my lifetime. From my understanding, everything started escalating around spring break, over the spring break holidays. And so word started kind of leak out that we might not be going back to school over spring holidays, after spring break.
And we have lots and lots of people in the state who are employed in hourly jobs, and those businesses have shut down temporarily. People are out of work, and so they're unable to buy the food that they normally do, and unable to feed their family. Sadly, we are one of the more food insecure states, and often rank as the most food insecure state. Fortunately, we live in a society and a time when there is enough food in the world to feed everybody. But when we talk about access, that's when things start to break down.
The administrator got together and said the kids got to still eat. And they had to figure a way how we're going to do it, so they came up with going door to door with the bus routes. We met as bus drivers that Monday, and we're delivering lunch that Wednesday. There's been a lot of work going on behind the scenes to make sure everybody can get what they need.
I have 60 packs for this, so we have 200, no, I have 60, so we have 300 left.
Children's development is happening at a rapid pace. Having a proper diet, a good diet, makes a big difference in their ability to develop appropriately. It's important for us to feed these kids, to get them the right nutrition, to get them well-balanced meals so that as they're developing, they do so at an appropriate and an ideal pace.
No, these two don't have fruit.
It's a strange situation for everybody to adapt to. We're not going to school, and try to make sure all the kids still get schoolwork and get fed each day. But when we get there, you always have people that volunteer, that work in the cafeteria, that come up and bag up the food for us to load. So when we get there, they already did a great job. having food ready to be loaded on the buses and stuff for all the bus drivers. And like my bus is 65, so they have, for my route was 250 route, my meal we gave out, so they have 250 meals ready for us to go. And we'll load up the bus route, and we'll go on our bus route that we really drive during the school year.
Our public health mission and our public education mission shouldn't be thought of as separate. Our economic development mission shouldn't be thought of as separate. Public education is really in service to a healthy, well-equipped workforce that can pour back into society.
How important is it for the school district and this community to really band together at a time like this?
Well, one thing you hear us talk about around Starbuck is the Jack Nation. And the Jack Nation is that everybody pitch in when it really count. Everybody got everybody back, in a sense. And those people that volunteer, they just want to help out. And in the need they can, in fact they can. And so some just came to bag up lunches, some came to help load buses, and some helped roll the buses and gave out lunches that day. So it was like Jack Nation came together to provide for the community. That we do in Starkville.
We'll have the conclusion of this extraordinary story later in the show. Again, thanks to producer James Parker and the Mississippi State University Television Center. On the lighter side, a lot of folks still sheltering in place outside in their yards. Horticulturist Gary Bachman says one way to a proven beautiful landscape might involve three little words. Some are eager to hear. Here's Gary with an explanation.
I don't think there's anything more inviting or beautiful than a large and colorful combination container prominently displayed on a patio. These elaborate containers seem like they would be hard for the home gardener to make, but not if you remember the following ingredients: thriller, filler, and spiller. Thriller plants add height and excitement to the container. Plants that have grassy qualities are good choices. Dracaena spikes are an old standby, with the long straight leaves providing great height. Papyrus is a good choice with its umbellate inflorescence of hundreds of thread-like rays. And grass-like Gara has flower-covered stems that dance in the slightest breeze. Filler plants take up and fill the middle space in the combination. I really like using sweet potato vine. The foliage definitely fills in, is available in many colors, and increases interest. Coleus is another great choice. The kaleidoscope of colors adds beauty and appeal. I think Calibrachoa may be an underused filler. They seem to be made to be grown in a combination container. Spiller plants want to sprawl out and over the container edge. Scaevola is a really good choice, available in colors ranging from white to red. Verbena has a wide variety of colors on strongly trailing stems and will flower all summer. And how can I neglect to mention petunias as spillers, like Headliner Pink Star and Headliner Yellow. The funnel-shaped flowers add great color. Combination containers are as easy as 1, 2, 3 if you follow today's recipe tips. I'm horticulturist Gary Bachman, and I'll see you next time on Southern Gardening.
We'll take a break right here, but don't go away. Coming up on the show, the conclusion of our special report, Meals on the Bus. We will hear more about this extraordinary effort, and we'll see firsthand how it's carried out. We've heard about such programs on the news recently, but unless you see a story like this one, it's hard to understand how, in the age of coronavirus, the most innocent victims, school-age kids, are coping with food insecurity. That's coming up on Farm Week. Don't go away.
At Mississippi State University, Extension is reaching beyond the college campus and impacting adult education. We're instructing agricultural professionals on the latest trends in research and technology, inspiring communities, empowering small businesses, and promoting the growth of healthy families where youth and adults can reach their fullest potential.
The MSU Extension Service, sharing our vision for the future.
ATVs are a ton of fun for people of all ages, but these powerful machines can also be a ton of trouble if safety guidelines aren't followed. Never carry more than one person on a single rider four-wheeler. The four-wheeler can become unstable and very dangerous. ATVs are designed for off-road use only. Never drive one on a highway or any other paved surface, and always ride the right size machine at the right speed. This message brought to you by MSU Extension 4-H.
It's a simple idea. Knowledge that transforms lives shouldn't be limited to those on a campus, but extended to any and all who want or need it, wherever they are. At Mississippi State University, we've been making that possible for more than 100 years through the MSU Extension Service. What began as an effort to extend the latest research to farmers has become something much more. Today, we're helping Mississippians from all walks of life, giving them the tools they need to build a brighter future. We're sparking the imagination of students around the state and inspiring the next generation of doctors. We're helping rural communities find their way to the internet and connect to the world at large. And we're teaching families how to lead healthier lives in ways both big and small. MSU is standing firm in its commitment to that one simple idea: extend the knowledge that transforms lives wherever they are.
Time now for the markets with Zac Ashmore, who has a special report lined up for you in today's show. Zac?
Thanks, Mike. This week we're looking back at first quarter 2020. A lot has happened. It's already a year to remember. Let's see how the markets were in January. See that baseline? It's going to take a real dive as we progress. But first, let's see what the big news in trade was at the time. Top of the year, we were talking about African swine fever, the beginnings of COVID-19, still mostly confined to China, and the trade war between them and the U.S.
The markets are dominated by the funds, and price is still a function of supply and demand, but it's modified by the flow of money, so it changes how the markets operate. And with coronavirus, it brings back a lot of fears of the SARS virus in 2002 and 2003, where people quit traveling, commerce slowed down as a result, and therefore it was a drag on the global economy. And so the funds, they don't know a lot of specifics about the commodity. Some do, but a lot of them don't. And so they'll say, oh, slower global economy, less demand for commodities. So when coronavirus hits the headlines, sell commodities.
On January 15th, the Phase 1 trade deal was signed by the U.S. and China. Market effects showed an upswing that week in anticipation of increased exports and the softening of trade tensions in general.
For the Phase 1 China deal, that's been the much anticipated one, right? And the big story there is that, this is really the first significant step towards de-escalating the trade tensions. And we know that U.S. ag has been the hardest hit by the retaliatory tariffs. This particular deal it really addresses the non-tariff barriers more so than the tariff barriers for ag. So there's still plenty of work to be done on getting those tariffs back to previous levels, but it's a big step in the right direction for sure.
January 29th saw signing of the USMCA trade deal that had been in talks for the past several years. However, this time concerns over COVID-19 were beginning to grow, and although it had not yet reached pandemic levels, fears were beginning to spread.
So if we think about USMCA, Canada, Mexico, big markets for poultry and for meat coming out of U.S. in general. Now those industries can feel a little bit more certain that they're going to have those export markets moving forward. NAFTA was key for those for the poultry industry, and USMCA continues that and strengthens it a little bit.
Moving on to February. Early in the month, China began relaxing tariffs on imported U.S. goods. Trade talks with Kenya began as well. Markets were still slipping as uncertainty increased from COVID-19. On top of that, though, was the price of soybeans and corn affected by the Brazilian crop harvest.
Soybeans in Brazil are a lot cheaper than U.S. beans. China historically doesn't tend to buy stuff that's expensive if they don't have to. So why wouldn't you, if you were China, why wouldn't you buy the cheap beans to fill what you need for a while, wait and see if we do plant all these acres, do have a decent crop, which we have a pretty good tendency to grow crops under a wide variety of conditions. We've proven that the last couple of years.
By the middle of February, COVID-19 had become international. However, analysts were looking to the future, and planting season was on their minds.
We think it's going to be a weather problem here. We think it's going to be more of a drought-like conditions in the mid-late spring that's going to make early planted grains compromised and have the market who'd be trading early planting makes grain say, wait a minute, now all these early planted acres are not going to maybe be as good as we thought. We have to recalibrate. And so we think we're going to get a similar V kind of a pattern when we come out of that, and that gives us our opportunity to get a weather rally going like last year and get a chance to sell. Already the USDA has dialed down, cotton acres. So if the weather remains, that wet and that unfavorable, the cotton acres are going to be tough to bring in.
Finishing up with March, that's when things began to take a real downturn as COVID-19 began to quickly spread. By the 15th, shutdowns and quarantine brought markets to a heavy fall.
I think what more than anything coronavirus has done, it's added emotion. And it's been like a risk-off affair for those who are in stocks and portfolios, 401ks and different things, trying to find a place to protect or park money. But you're seeing a lot of money being printed by China and other countries, but especially China, to kind of try to cushion the slide of their economy at this time.
There's no question that the virus is putting a lot of people out to work. Restaurants are closed in a lot of places. Illinois has no restaurant business except for takeout and delivery. So, when you kill demand out here for food, eating out, it's going to take a whack. And we saw that happen.
Closing out the month, things were uncertain. And although we're still in that situation now, it seems that the first quarter of 2020 is one to be remembered as an unexpected fall of the markets marred by an even more unexpected pandemic. And that's it for a deeper look into the markets. We'll see if the next quarter ends better. I'll be keeping an eye on it. Mike?
And now the conclusion to today's special report, Meals on the Bus. It's part of an inspired effort by the Starkville-Oktibbeha School District in Mississippi to make sure school kids are still getting fed every day despite the coronavirus lockdown.
And we just run our regular route. As you go through, by the second day, we knew who was going to get the meal before we got there. I stood up front and I tell Coach Denson, hey, give me 2, because I know that family's going to get 2 meals. Or give me 3, because I knew how many family members were going to come out that house. So it's just a process that you learn because you know the people that you're going to. You know your routine. You know who's going to come out and get it. Look like 3, 4. 4 in Brooklyn if she come out. Yep. In Brooklyn.
Look at this. Hey! Let me help out.
Hold on for a minute. There we go. Hey, girl. So what you got on today? These are the kids that ride your bus every day. That's the bus route I drive every morning. And the lady that was on the other lady that drives, she drives that route in the evening time. So these kids we see on a daily basis. There they go. He got good running for him already. There you go.
There's 2 other kids.
2?
2 more.
2 more.
There you go, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you. They're in their house.
We'll see y'all on Monday. Have a great weekend. I was talking to a parent the other day, and I said, as teachers, we always say that you ready to get out of school, and kids always say they don't want school. You end up missing your students. The kids that you used to seeing and you teaching and stuff, you miss them. So it's strange that you don't see your students each and every day.
Okay.
Just one?
Just one today.
Tell them, come on. How many more in there? Come on, boy. Give it up to.
Ready to go?
Look, you gotta be big and strong. You gotta eat every day. You hear me? You're down there every day, okay? All right. On my route alone, we gave out a total, the high we gave out was 250. And that was great, and each day it went up. It started off the first day we gave out like 90, and the next day we gave out 100 and something, then we got out with a 250, so but they come to get it, so that's tell me that they want it and they need it.
Desperate times call for desperate measures, and these are certainly desperate times in a lot of ways, but I would say that our measures have been far more than those that represent just a desperate response. They've been very heartfelt, very meaningful, very effective responses.
Way more than 6, but 4 right off the bat. 1, go.
I got some in this flow.
Okay, 2 more. All right, that's 6. How many more? 4 more. Randy, 4 more. How you doing?
It was a great thing the administrator did for the school district and for the community as a whole, because we're not feeding just people that school age. We feed anybody from age 0 to 18.
Got it.
This time we're in now with everything going on in the world, you can't get out like you're supposed to or like you've been doing. You ain't going to school, so we don't know who need it, who don't need it. So we fortunate that the school said, hey, we got the food to provide for kids.
Thank you as a parent, I would say, to our own local school district for this work. And I'm sure that I speak for the parents across the state and the country who have children in public schools and who have benefited from the investment that they've continued to make when it would have been easy to go home and wait for the stay-home order to be lifted and resume life as normal. They've stayed the course and been true to the mission of public education, which is about advancing our society, creating that educated, healthy workforce for the future. And I'm grateful for that.
I think it's important that they see that we still care about them and we still want to make sure they're doing good in life and stuff. And then it's just not about school, it's beyond school. Which I think is great for the kid to see, hey, I go to a school just that care about me and not just about my education. They want to make sure I got everything I needed to survive in life, and they help provide that for me. Man, I'm just the type of person that I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to help out the next person. I grew up in Starkville, so I know the needs of people in Starkville. A lot of folks need that meal throughout the day. A lot of kids depend on that lunch. It's a strange situation that you're dealing with, and as a coach, you always deal with adversity. And we're dealing with a lot of adversity right now because we don't know what the next day is gonna bring. As long as we do it, I'll be out there doing it. And that's all I can do on my end. So I hope as long as we out, we provide meals for the kids.
Inspired storytelling by producer James Parker and the team from Mississippi State University Television Center. We want to thank them for their efforts to show all of us just how children and their families are coping with food insecurity and with the effects of the lockdown. Very good story. Next week on the show, it's literally a salt of the earth story, 400 years, million years in the making. In West Virginia, a family business that goes back 7 generations, revived in modern times by a brother and sister intent on being part of the farm-to-table movement. What started as a 400-pound test has grown to a spicy harvest of 10 tons. We're headed to the salt mines next time on Farm Week. Remember, if you missed a story, look for past episodes of Farm Week on our website at farmweek.tv, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube as well. We'll see you next week. Stay healthy. Thanks for watching.